hey, I hope you play better. I don't know what's going on with you. What's happening? Is your foot hurt? Something simple. But to sit there and say you're trash, you play like trash. I wish you were traded. Why the hell are you on this team? They're saying that stuff to Tyrann Mathieu. They're saying it about Ward. I saw 3 Chiefs fans, and then somebody said they were trolls. They were not trolls. I looked at their pages. These are guys that have been fans of ours and sit there in 1 minute say how great Mahomes is, and they said, he needs to be traded.
There's a lot of that. There was a lot of that in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And people saying F Mahomes, but see, here's what's happening. Mm-hmm. We're speaking out of frustration. That's all it is. We're all frustrated. Tyrann Mathieu's frustrated. Frank Clark seems to be frustrated. Anthony Hitchens
is he though?
Not only. Mm-hmm. I don't know about Frank Clark. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But I assume that he is. But he was chuckling it up on the side. We know
that was a little different.
Hitchens is frustrated. He's not only losing, but this is what we call insult to injury. He's hurt too.
Yeah, he's been hurt for a while though. That's what people don't understand is he played through a lot of injuries during the season. So they don't look at that.
So much of me says, "Hey, I don't know." Before this all happened, Hitchens wasn't. I don't want to say he was failing. He wasn't, but I think we could have got better at linebacker position. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I agree.
And I don't think that is I think that's a criticism, but I think it's a fair criticism. Mm-hmm. But I also don't think that I would never try to call nobody trash. I have said it in the past on podcasts, but I've gone back and I've kind of, the more I've done this, the more I've realized that these things are people too.
Yeah, they are.
So that's true.
We got to treat them as such. And Anthony Hitchens responded to a criticism out of frustration. Yeah. That's what just happened.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to let y'all keep talking. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, man. No, you're fine. I mean, it just is what it is. It's part of being a human being. I mean, it's something that we've alluded to this on the show numerous times. It's 3% of people from in all of pro sports all of sports period. When you take NBA, Major League Baseball, MLB, NFL, and then pro soccer. If you take all of those combined from the age of 5 all the way through college, 3% of every single individual that plays the sport from the age of 5 on make it to the pros. 3%. So for someone that has never played the sport to sit on a couch, eating a tub of fucking ice cream, to sit there and critique someone, or not even critique, but trash the living shit out of them, just to do it is what irritates me. It's not the fact that they want to say, I wish you were playing better. What the hell's going on? But to sit there and say, hey, you're trash. You need to be traded. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Well, why don't you get out there and try it? Why don't you go play CB for a while? I want to see somebody out. They trash Ward every week because he's not an interception king. Go out there and try it for one freaking series in a practice game. Please, I want you to try it. I've watched it on the field. I've stood on that field and watched those guys do it. It's totally different than when I watched it. Those guys that is the second, in my opinion, probably the hardest position to play next to quarterback. And if anybody wants to argue that, they're out of their freaking minds. Because between safety and CB, you are critiqued, watched, and beat up by a ref more than anybody in the damn league. And if you ain't watching everything you do, including the quarterback's eyes, the wide receiver, their footwork, their routes, everything they do, and then watching the ref too, and knowing everything you can and can't do, and still try to knock down a pass, intercept a ball, keep somebody out of the end zone, stop first downs, whatever the case may be, There's very few people in this world that has the ability to do all of those things. Talk about multitasking. That is someone that can multitask. And then you got people out there, well, Ward's trash. Hey, you dumb bastard, Ward was in a wheelchair. You want to sit there and slam a man? He is the story of a lifetime. The guy wasn't even supposed to be able to freaking walk, and he's in the NFL. And you're sitting there calling him trash. That pisses me off more than anything. Because the man he's made it above where any expectation of his life should have been. And you're sitting there calling him trash. He's one of the top CBs in the fucking league. And you're calling him trash. That pisses me off.
It reminds me of when on one of the podcasts I listened to, one of the basketball players that got trashed by Stephen A. Kwame Brown was Stephen A. trashed him for his whole career.
Yeah.
And Kwame's like, look, I paid off all my debts. I put my mom in a new house. I'm not a failure. I'm sorry, JP and Caleb. I'm sorry, but I understand both sides are frustrated, but it just sucks that there's still so much football left.
There is.
Yeah, there is.
We are not out of the race. We are not out of the playoff race, and yet, and I understand they brought these guys in to lead, and this is not what leadership is. Traditionally, I get it. You got to be in control of your emotions on some level. But when you bring in, you wanted guys like this, right? We wanted that attitude. We wanted the spunk. And it just sucks that it's now being hurled at the players. Our spunk is being hurled at the players, and it's being hurled back. It just doesn't. It's not the mark of a stable organization, and it sucks to see because I thought we were getting to the point where it was just stability. You know what I mean? Even through this losing season, I was ready to see who was willing to come in and help us rebuild or retool more like, and just be a part of something new. But man, this is bad.
Well, we talked about this, and Caleb, I'll let you go after this. We talked about this off air, and we know what situation is going on or went on, and things are changing, I believe, and I think after what went on, it's definitely going to change. And, I think the things that have been said about Andy, especially, really pissed me off knowing the situation. And I know people don't know the situation, and I get it, but still it doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's brought us to new heights. This whole entire organization has brought us to places that no one else has been able to do in 50 years. We have not been to 3 straight AFC championship games. We've not been to 2 straight Super Bowls. We didn't win a Super Bowl before this era. And it's greediness, and it pisses me off. And I think what makes me more angry is the fact, and I think the anger comes from within because I know certain things that I can't say, and I wish I could, but I'm not going to. And I know other people would love to know it, but it's not my place to say it. But I think that's what frustrates me the most, and it's just like no different from the Ward situation. I mean, people can go on Wikipedia. I knew about him well before he got to Kansas City. I knew about his situation. I knew about his life. When we drafted him, I knew everything about him.
I knew something about him because he's from.
Yeah.
He's not far from my mom. He's from a city that's not far from my mom's hometown.
Yeah. So the dude is really a miracle. I mean, in my opinion, he fought his way into a place that not many people could do. Okay? I mean, it just is what it is. And then people are calling him trash when he's one of the better CPs in the league. All because he doesn't intercept balls. Who gives a fuck? He's stopping everything that's coming his way for the most part. I mean, people don't throw to his side for a reason. So it's just common courtesy, man. I mean, I don't know, dude. I am too. And I think, there's going to be changes coming up. I'm not going to get into all that shit because it's not my place. But I told you guys off air, and I believe 100% it's going to happen. I know things have already happened. And I'll let you take it from this point on, Caleb, because I've ranted enough. And
No, you're
I'm
good,
already
man. No,
fucking sideways.
You're good, man. No, what I agree with Thizz and JP have said. I think when it comes down to it more specifically, we wanted those players such as a Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu here because we weren't getting that. We were not getting that leadership from Justin Houston. Now, Eric Berry was a leader when he was here and could do everything, but Justin Houston was out there. And he had to be motivated by a practice squad defensive tackle. That's neither here or there. But we needed guys like Tyrann Mathieu to come in, and I don't blame them for coming after some of these fans because these players have got to this league for no reason. Like JP said, talking about Ward, Tyrann Mathieu wasn't supposed to be here either. He was not supposed to be drafted. Actually, he was in jail recently before all this, before he got drafted and everything. So when it comes down to it, it just kind of shows you like, look, we are not going to agree, but I think what we can come to in a common courtesy and something we can come together and understand is, look, we can be critical, but there's an extent. And what we've seen a lot of fans do, and they probably are trolls, but what they're doing is there's a line, but they've been pushing past it. They're being extremely disrespectful. Tyrann Mathieu, these boys are continuing to work and work and work. Football is an all year round thing. They have to work all the time. People now have a job that goes from 9 to 5. They don't work any of those hours before or after. Tyrann Mathieu and them are working all the time. So I feel like they have a right at the end of the day to clap back, especially when it comes to people who do not understand what they're talking about. I mean, we saw the other day, someone was trying to say that they were in the wrong formation. It's like, no. He called him out and said, no, this was an all-out blitz. Yeah. Basically showing that this was called, but this is what they end up running and how we got to beat. So, I mean, there's things like that that's going to happen. But what it comes to in this day is this. We may not agree, and we may be frustrated how the Chiefs are playing, but we need to stay calm because it could be a lot worse. We could be the Lions right now and be 0-6 and have not done anything and had your heart ripped out week. Yeah, we could be ripped out week after week after week, get beat up by Aaron Rodgers, having told him he owns you, anything. But we're not doing that right now. We are 3-4. We have seven AFC West games left. And if we can win those 7, we will win the division. I guarantee you that. We will win the division. This season is not far from over. But what we have now is we have a divide. We have people who understand how football works, the majority of Chiefs Kingdom versus the small group, as JP says, that 5% of fan base who are here from the Patrick Mahomes era and the Patrick Mahomes era only and think that we should be scoring 45 points a game, that the defense should be lights out. I'm here to tell you guys that is never going to happen all the time. No. We've seen Tom Brady, the greatest team on earth, they said, went 18-0 and lost in the Super Bowl. And they weren't the greatest offense at that time during that game. They weren't. So that just shows you it doesn't matter how great you are. There will be times when you struggle. Now, this is what happens. It's how a team responds. Good teams know how to respond through adversity, but great teams know how to overcome. Yep. And,
here's the thing. It's funny because when I put that tweet out about stop trashing players, everybody talked about the defense. Well, we got the right. The defense had played like shit for the whole. Okay, well, let me ask you something.
JP, what right do they have?
Exactly, they have no right. First of all,
they can say some stuff, but like, are they football experts? Do they get drafted in the league? Have they been watching film like? Have they been doing podcasts like Thizz has been doing for years, paying attention to the game? No, these are
not only that. Do they pay these guys?
JP, these are common casual fans who just show up on Sunday and do little tweets here and there throughout the week.
Well, that's my point. They watch it on TV. They watch it on TV, and I guarantee you half the people that said that, they don't have season tickets. They don't pay their salaries, and they may go to one game a year if they're lucky. So, but my point behind this whole thing is that when I put that tweet out, everybody blasted just the defense. Now,
Mahomes is play bad too, man.
That's my point. Okay, it's like, so the defense made Mahomes throw 9 interceptions this year. The defense made Mahomes throw balls in the dirt. The defense made Clyde fumble. Okay, this is just absurd. It's like they're blaming Tyrann Mathieu Anthony Hitchens, and Ward being injured,